Okay, so now we're probably now in step number 3, where you need to write the text explaining how you measure the variables. So let me change the screen to the Word file. Here it is. So take a look at this paragraph to fill. This is literally what you have to fill. And what you have to fill is what it is in the parentheses and this part over here. So let me explain you how this works. So uh, what you will have to write in your dissertation if you do quantitative, and what you will have to write in your assignment is this text in a section that is probably called 3.2.1 data collection quantitative data. You will probably have that section in there. So you are actually starting to work in your group assignment with this task for this lab. So what you need to write is to explain how you collected the data. And a very important aspect of how you collected the data is which questions you used to collect and why. So this is what you will write. You will write which questions and why and where they come from. So first of all, the text, I mean that you don't have to change anything except what is in the parentheses and this part. So the concept of your dependent variable, here maybe I can go with the, because this is already an example for, I guess this is group 1 and group 2, happiness and financial stress. So the concept of your dependent variable, whichever your dependent variable is, global mindset, happiness, or whatever, so here you change to happiness, was measured by using the scale developed by, and then the author and the year. So you can find that in here, the author and the year. So you just need to put the reference in there. For people who have many authors, remember it's Bock et al. 2005. And if you have only one author, with just one author and then year, two authors is author 1 and author 2. 3 or more is with et al. So then you put that Lyubomirsky and Lepper, 1999. It contains, and then you need to write how many items. Happiness is 4 items. Yeah, 4 items. But other variables have more. For example, financial stress, there are 5 items. So check how many items you have and then put it here. So number of items, for this case, it will be 4, right? For happiness. Rated on the 10-point Likert scale, where 1 was totally disagree and 10 was totally agree. You don't have to change this because I already made sure that all the questions can be answered with totally disagree or totally agree, and we will use 1 to 10. So do not change anything in here. Then this sentence is very important and it can be confusing, so I will explain with detail. Sometimes it's not the best to ask the question in the same way. Let me explain you that. Maybe I can ask, are you happy? Okay, 1 to 10, how happy you are. Are you satisfied with life? 1 to 10, how satisfied you are. So 10 means that you are happy, right? 10 is good. But maybe I can ask an inverse question, the opposite. So are you sad? So if you answer 10, that is bad, right? So it's the opposite. That is something common that we use in surveys because that kind of triggers like consciousness in the person answering. Because if you ask all the time, are you happy? Are you content? Are you satisfied? It's going to be always 10, 10, 10, 10. But if you ask an inverse coded question, it will make the person reflecting. And I think we have an example of that here in happiness. Like, I think in general, you can check in here. In general, I consider myself a very happy person. So 10 is good, 10 is more happiness. Compared to most of my peers, I consider myself happier. So the same 10 is that you are happier. But then look at question 4. Some people are generally not very happy. Although they are not depressed, they never seem as happy as they might be. The previous characterization describes me. So if you want to be described like someone who is not very happy, so 10, This is inverse coded, right? This is actually the opposite. So all the questions that are inverse coded have this INB in here. So not all of the questions are like that. And also not all the variables have inverse questions. For example, the global mindset, this global mindset doesn't have anything. So what you need to write in here, in this, is state if any was inverse coded is as it is written in the example. The last item was inverse coded. That is because item 4 was inverse coded. Look at item 4 is inverse coded. So that could be a bit confusing, but I think now after the explanation, it is clear. Just double check in the table if any of the questions have this INB, because that means those are inverse coded. And we will have to be careful with this when we do the analysis in the next lab, in lab 2. And then this part, we perform internal validity test using Cronbach alpha and the outcome was XXX, thus making it a valid instrument. Leave it like that. Do not change the XXX because we don't have the results yet. We need to get the responses, and then in the next lab, we will do the test and then you will update this, okay? So wait. And then after you rewrite the things in the parentheses, this, and this, so 4 things to rewrite, then copy and paste what you have in here, the item and the code. So as you can see here in the example, so hap1, happiness 1, hap1, hap1, and item 1. So you just need to copy paste from the table. Okay, so in general, I consider myself a happy person. In general, I consider, and just copy paste. And do the same for the independent variable. It's exactly the same thing you can see in the example paragraph. So the measure of your independent variable, in this case financial stress, was inspired by the author and year, Xiao 2009. It consisted of 5 statements, so 5. The respondent had to answer blah, blah, blah. The 3, 4, and 5 items were inverse coded. The responses used blah, 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 that you don't change anything. We perform validity, you don't change that. And then just copy paste the questions. You can find them here, financial stress here. And then you just copy paste and put them there. So that's it. Once that you finish this, so it's basically 2 paragraphs what you have to write. Include the reference at the end. Just include, copy paste the reference too. Keep a track of your references. Include them there. And that's it. That's what you have to do. Just submit that in Canvas, and then I will take a look. I mean, this is super easy. It's like 2 out of 10 in level of difficulty. But if there is something wrong, I will write something. If you have a question, then you can come on Monday. If you don't have a question, you don't have to come to the online session. And that's it. That's the first thing that you need to do in lab 1. So the next step, after I get everything on Monday, I will construct the big survey, and I will probably share with you on Monday evening or on Tuesday the link to the survey. So then first of all, answer to the survey, your own answers. Second, share it with 3 or 4 or 5 friends, so then we can get more responses and we will be able to do the analysis. So that's it. That's the task for today. Very easy. Do not miss the deadline and come only if you have questions.